Alright, what do we got here? We got Natakaus versus Hamster Berserker. That's interesting. I like this Bretonnia build a lot, actually, but we can talk about that more in the game. Okay, Troll Country. Pretty good. Queen Bess. Silostra with Kraken's Pull. Looks like the Tide Call and Spiteful Shot. We have two Gunnery Whites. Do they have Scab Scrape? They do. Very nice. Lamprey's Alright now, calm down. Lamprey's Revenge, Deck Gunners, two Scurvy Dogs, and some Deckhand Mobs. Decent little army. A mounted Yeoman Vanguard from the Bretonians is going to get on top of Queen Bess. We'll see how quickly they can get anything done with that. Interesting. We have four Pegasus Knights, which I like. It might be over-investing, but I do like it. We have a Prophetess of Beasts with Curse of On Rear, Panzerpenetrable Pelt, and Assault of Stone. A shit ton of Peasant Bowmen. It looks like some are fire arrows, some are pox arrows. Are any regular? Nope. Men-at-Arms, Spearmen-at-Arms, more Men-at-Arms, so a middle-tier Bretonnian front line as far as they go. And one Grail Guardians unit. Why do I like this? Because what's standard in this matchup is Gunbats and Luther. And Gunbats and Luther can get picked apart by Pegasus Knights pretty easily. The mounted Yeoman pick is interesting. They will get on top of Queen Bess. We'll see how quickly Nauticus can turn around and deal with that. As far as the rest of the build goes, it's fine. It's tricky on this map because Queen Bess needs space and it's one of the smallest maps in the game, so it's hard not to be white line camping or anything. But as long as Queen Bess doesn't fully die, this is an okay start. I mean, they get a mounted Yeoman unit, and Queen Bess, if she fires, she fires. It doesn't really matter what her health is until the moment she dies. Deck Gunner should probably be shooting at Pegasus Knights, but there's just so many of them. I think that the Vampire Coast might have a problem dealing with 4 units of them. Queen Bess should definitely be shooting at Archers, which is a nice first hit, because the Archers are the only thing here that can take out Silostra. Pegasus Knights have anti-large, but they have almost no armor piercing, so they won't actually do that much against the Deer Fawn herself. That and the Lamprey's Revenge with the 2 Gunnery White Crabs can do a lot of amazing work if those Archers are taken out. So it's up to Queen Bess to take them all out. It looks like Queen Bess is going to get compromised again by these Flying Knights, and the Deck Gunners are a little exposed. There is a big engagement on this side that Nauticus is sending the Crabs towards, and the Crabs can't be everywhere at once, unfortunately. Damn Knights Errant coming out. If the Grail Guardians are nearby, those bad boys do magic damage, so these Knights Errant will want to watch out for that as they are ethereal. Queen Bess will be shut down. She stopped about 1.5 Peasant Bowmen, but really I think the Flying Corps and the Vanguard Mounted Yeoman really surprised the Vampire Coast player. Another Pegasus Knight unit takes out the Deck Gunners. There wasn't a whole lot in this army that could stop it. Just a weird flying rush to get used to. But, ooh, 2 nice Scab Scrates come in, taking out a bunch more Archers. Doesn't actually rout any of them, but does do some good damage. Damn Knight Errant are taking a lot of damage from the Grail Guardian. Now they're a summon, so maybe if they die, who gives a shit? But still nice trading from the Grail Guardians. Song of Enthrallment will bring their melee attack down to 12, which is actually pretty bad. It looks like a Kraken's Pull is coming in. Ooh, that'll do some great damage to those Grail Guardians, along with Silostra piling in herself. How's this going? Gunnery White's fighting some Pegasus Knights, and he's doing okay. There's no Vampire Casters, so there's no healing for him. The cycle charging from the Bretonnian player is actually really nice. Prophetess of Beasts still has 285 weapon strength. She can't be ignored, per se, and Archers are trying to pile in and also help out with that situation. That Gunnery White is in real trouble. Now on this side, the Grail Guardians have taken a lot of damage. This has been a good trade for the Vampire Coast over here. Most definitely. Archers are firing in onto the Crabs. As you mentioned, they're kind of the only real threat to the Crabs that there is. Now, yes, this Gunnery White is dying, but it took 2 Pegasus Knights and the Lord cycle charging them constantly, and you can see that the damage was traded back pretty effectively on that note. Full charge and still taking them so long. 120 armor is hard to get through with no armor piercing. If that Gunnery White can get off one more Scab Scrape, that would be very good for it, but it does not. It looks like a Tide Call is coming in, doing some decent poke on Men-at-Arms. I have struggled to get Tide Call to really be worth it. It just doesn't feel like it does enough damage, in my opinion. Lamprey's Revenge are chasing down the Grail Guardians. This might be tricky for them, but it looks like the Grail Guardians will pull away. Balance power is still relatively even. I would say state of the game, If you didn't pay attention to what units were in place, I would say State of the Game favors Bretonia. They still have a lot more alive than the Vampire Coast, but I think if Celestra comes over here and supports this Gunnery White, she can just get rid of a lot of this nonsense. Curse Von Rear comes down, lowering the Gunnery White's melee stats, though him shooting his gun in melee combat is one of the reasons he's good. And oh, a great Kraken's Pull is going to be coming down. Ah, very nice. It catches some of the Pegasus Knights. It looks like some of them took off while still in combat, which was a little weird looking, but a lot of them will still get caught down there, and that will be very good. Lamprey's Revenge are getting atop Peasant Bowman, though they are going to get rear charged by Grail Guardians. That's a bitter scrap back there. Both players playing quite well. Peasant Bowman still on the side. These ones are largely uncompromised and they can fire in, but a lot of the Peasant Bowmen have been taken out, which is pretty good. The chaff for Bretonia is getting eaten alive. Pegasus Knights are very low, and there is no healing on either side, actually. Lamprey's Revenge have routed off 2 more peasant mobs. Peasant archer mobs. And Grail Guardians are actually getting in some decent trades there. It looks like the Pegasus squad will go over and try to help them. What is this? This is an Assault of Stone. Ah, Assault of Stone coming down. There wasn't a great target for it earlier, I guess, so now it's just going to try to take out one zombie unit. Better using it than not using it. And you see Lamprey's Revenge is actually fighting very well against all these knights, because even Grail Guardians aren't armor-piercing. So these lads are having a good time of it. They are still getting whittled down, but they're fighting back against 3 different knight units, and they're getting shot in the meantime. Now, while that's happening, the Vampire Coast is running around and routing off other units, just acknowledging that the Lamprey's Revenge will probably die, but they'll take some knights with them. With this time, they're routing off more archers, routing off more chaff, and they know the end of the game will come to Gunnery White and Celestra versus a bunch of knights. Bounce power is now in the Vampire Coast favor, and I would agree. Prophetess of Beasts over there, casting Arcane Conduit. She probably can get another Curse Von Rear off in the key endgame engagement. Grail Guardians are almost non-existent. Pegasus Knights are all very wounded as well. And Celestia has to regroup with Gunnery White right about now. She can't leave him out like this. He does have some zombie supports for now, and if they turn around and collapse on the back of these Pegasus Knights, they will do good damage, even though they're quite battered. And now she is here. She does have Song of Enthrallment somewhere. There it is. That'll lower melee attack and speed. She immediately pops it. Terror routes off some knights, and that is a good pick. Bretonians are going to try to rally all of their peasant bowmen. It looks like 3. All 3 of them, and just shoot at Celestra, probably. The Gunnery White's also a decent target, but he's a little small. Sometimes arrows can miss him. At least Celestra, you know literally every single arrow is going to hit. And kite play would be appropriate here. I don't think you should waste any... and they're not, I'm just talking out loud. You shouldn't waste any shots on the chaff around Celestra. She can't summon anymore, she can't heal him, and this one's already crumbling, and that other one's pretty insignificant to all the stuff that matters to you. Just shooting the big crab lady would be nice. You can see those volleys are doing good damage over time. She has 6,000 health, but you gotta get through it eventually, I suppose. Wouldn't mind resting the knights while you kite. Just letting them sit still, letting them go to fresh would probably be good, especially these super wounded ones that being fresh gives you some leadership buffs that they do desperately need. A Tide Call comes in, and will it break the Pox arrows? No, they do manage to rally, though they turn their backs on Celestra and she's getting closer. That will actually break them. And 2 more Peasant Bowmen are lining up to start shooting. At this point, they could probably shoot the Gunnery White until Celestra comes into range. You don't want to overextend. Now, I wonder if there's another Scab Scraith on this guy. I've seen a good number of them this game, and the other Gunnery White died, so I would guess he has 1 or none left. And I know that's a real bold claim, but I'm going to bet with none. I think they would have used it by now if there was one. More units are terror routing. Archers are shooting Celestra, and at this point, the volume of fire just really isn't there to take her out. This Pox arrow coming back is nice, but these guys could use all their ammo, not kill her. They will get her low, but they won't kill her. It's really going to be up to the Grail Guardians and this Prophetess to get some good cycle charging, but Celestra immediately jumps on top of some Pegasus Knights. With the Song of Enthrallment and her large body, she just slaps him down, and it looks like the Peasant Bowman maybe even shot a few on the retreat there. That's pretty bad. Bounce power is quite in the favor of the Vampire Coast, and it'll be a slow grind to death. Bounce out, kill that, bounce out, kill that, bounce out, kill that. Wait for army losses to do its job. Boom. Bam, bam, boom. It was good gameplay. I would say in the game, most things were handled very well. I mean, on a bigger map maybe, but on Troll Country I didn't like this build. Queen Bess and the Deck Gunners were in range as soon as the game started, but also were in danger as soon as the game started. The crabs are nice. I do like Lore Vampire's healing, but it looks like Kraken's Call was good to kill off some knights and blobs. Damn Knights Errant Summon could chase around archers, but in this game it was just used to pin in some knights and kill them. So it was pretty good. I mean, if you got the Deck Gunners and Queen Bess, that's like 2,500 gold or something like that. And you could get some more halberds, get some more dogs, maybe 1 or 2 handgun mobs and push up. But again, that's map specific. I don't hate Queen Bess in general versus Bretonnia. It can work, especially routing off archers super quickly. Prophetess of Beasts isn't ideal. Fey Enchantress is usually just better. Lewin's usually better. But she was used well in this case. She doesn't have the armor piercing that Lewin has, or the Fey's various strengths and buffs. Pegasus Knights were really cool. Grail Knights ended up working out better than I would have thought, but still not ideal. So I have some issues with some of the builds, but the play in the game was really nice. Bretonnian player cycle charged really well. Vampire Coast player prioritized targets, yeah, pretty well. Pretty well. At the start of the game, maybe they could have tried to bail out the Deck Gunners and Queen Bess, but it was probably too little too late. Not a whole lot they could do. And then we have a replay from me training for the Faction War. For Turin's Faction War, that is, if you don't know what that is. I was Skaven rep. I had to play Houseplant, another RTK, on Empire versus Skaven. And I was not a fan, because he knew my builds, because we practiced together. I also knew his, so we both had to kind of develop new stuff. So we're going to talk about this for a little bit, how to handle the Skaven versus Empire matchup. So I was playing with Blood Penguin. He helped me practice for the matchup, and he was really helpful. But what was weird is coming into this, I had like 2 builds that both were very good in my opinion, and they dealt with the stuff Empire players always took into me. And that was nice. And I thought I had a handle on this matchup. I just needed some new builds to deal with Houseplant. But the more Blood Penguin and I played it, he was actually slapping me around a lot. And he took a lot of different lords. And I don't really want to out their strategy too much. So without like just telling you what Blood Penguin did, besides this game that you're going to watch, obviously, it's just experiment around with the lords and the units. As you saw on Turin's stream with Houseplant, this isn't me spoiling anything for Houseplant because it was on Turin's stream already, but like Outriders, nobody really considered them good in this matchup, but they just destroyed my Poison Wind Globes. They have good armor piercing and they outranged the globes. They can get a volley off and then run away before I can retaliate. Experiment around with the Empire roster because there's a lot of units that was used in practice with Blood Penguin and in the Faction War that I hadn't really seen this matchup before. Most people just run double cannon, Volkmar the Grim, Flagellant, Rush with some Huntsmen into me, and I can beat that very easily. Because I see it all the time, and I have builds to deal with it. But when you switch stuff up, I need a lot different elements, and yeah. So anyway, just be creative with your builds is what I'll say. Anyway, we have Marcus Wolfheart. Some Huntsmen and Free Company Militia across the front lines with some unbreakable units. We have Swordsmen. Sigmar's Sons are in here somewhere. A bunch of Flagellants. And in the back line, we have some Empire Knights, Empire Knights, and Empire Knights. Now, I run Snitch out very aggressively. I can get 1 free hit on Marcus Wolfheart and then blast him with Icket Zap Zap. The problem I didn't really think about is that Marcus Wolfheart has a net. So I am going to try to run away. But Icket Zap Zap saved me there for a bit, stopped me from getting netted. Now I'm going to pay the price, and I didn't really think about that before I ran in there like that. Free Company Militia are going to turn and try to shoot me. Archers are going to try to shoot me. Swordsmen are going to surround me. But I am bombing the area with Poison Wind Globes. In this build, I have 2 Poison Wind Globes, 2 Wolf Rats, 3 Rat Ogres, Icket Zap Zap, a Plague Priest on foot, an Assassin, and Deathmaster Snitch. My opponent, we already went over their army. Very nice stuff. They also have an Amber Wizard. So usually how you want to handle this matchup, at least if you have my build, I'm using Icket Zap Zap right now to bail out Snitch in a bad situation, but what I will do very soon is to put Icket Zap Zap on the Amber Wizard and then never touch it again. And all that does is if it hits him, it sets him on cooldown, and if it doesn't hit him, he has to keep dodging. So the Empire player's micro will be over there, not on their army, and I can punish their army while he's doing that. But like I said, with Snitch, I actually had to shoot something else, and that actually allowed the Ember Wizard to get off a volley. Poison Globes are doing excellently. Archers don't trade back super effectively versus them. Now they are taking a lot of damage, but there's 2 of them, and look how much stuff is routed off in that meantime. A Manticore will come in, and I think Snitch plus some Rat Ogres are going to pin it down as soon as it hits the ground, and that will kill it off quite quickly. Wolf Rats bounce out. I got a little over-aggressive. I keep forgetting that Free Company Militia are actually good in combat, so my Wolf Rats are going to break off with all the Archer fire coming in as well. I do pop Rival High Talisman just to really shut down this Manticore and make sure my Poison Wind Mortars don't take too much damage. Pestilent Breath, clear out some Sigmar Suns, since I know those Unbreakable Bastards are going to be hard to deal with later. Ikid Zap Zap is doing a ton of damage to the Amber Wizard. He is going to run. If he runs, he can't dodge, and then it will probably finish him off. So you can usually pressure someone's caster off the field in the early game. That or use Deathmaster Snitch and run out there and net them quick just to make sure 1 volley or 2 connects, and you can see when they do a lot of damage. So that's going to be the only Manticore cast this game, and it will run away. Wolfheart's somewhere out there in the ether. I do net him with Deathmaster Snitch, but I don't remember why I did that. Oh, I was trying to blow up these Empire Knights, because the snare does do an explosion, but he wasn't close enough to Empire Knights. And I was in a bit of a rush. So my backline's still very secure. Ikid Zap Zap's still firing at random shit at this point. I don't think I've given it a new order. I've been busy doing other stuff. Poison Globes are trying to punish this blob heavily, I think. Yeah, those are Clan Rat Spears, so they'll hold for a while. And Marcus does net down a bunch of stuff, but there's not really anything to follow up on that and punish it. I fire Ikid Zap Zap at him just to get some free damage while I can see him, but I'm running the Pit Fighters of Hell's Deep right after him. I know if they get on top of him, they can do a lot of damage. Now, they are going to get countercharged by Empire Knights. I try to break that with Clan Rats, but the summon fades as I try to do that. Either way, Ikid Zap Zap's still firing in. Pit Fighters are on top of him and rampaging, so I'm okay with that trade, because they'll do good damage no matter what. Skaven Slave Spears in the back, brace, try to hold Empire Knights off of Ikid Zap Zap, and Deathmaster Snitch is going to run over, lower all their melee defense by 10, I think he has. Or is it his leadership? Yeah, it's 10 melee defense. So even Skaven Slave Spears can get some poking fire through there. Poison Wind Globes are still shooting, and they've been getting counter-fired this whole game. So you can see they trade decently well against archers, honestly. Empire Knights are going to run in the backfield, make sure those mortars don't come back. And finally, the Pit Fighters are routed off, but you can see these Empire Knights have taken almost all their health value. And they're only 200 gold cheaper than the Pit Fighters, so that is a really good trade. Ikid Zap Zap's been firing and getting some good pokes on Marcus. And so far, it's been pretty good. My leadership core is largely okay. Snitch is down to 1/3 health, but otherwise than that, Caster's doing okay. Assassin's doing just fine. Flagellants are being annoying and pushing in on top of Ikid Zap Zap. I fire Ikid Zap Zap at the Empire Knights just to try and break them before they get on top of the Poison Wind Mortars, but they do get on top of the mortars regardless. Some Wolf Rats are rallying. I'm going to use them to go after some of these ranged units. You can see with Clan Rats really buffering the shots, the Wolf Rats can get up here without taking too much punishment. And Marcus is going to shoot. I think I try to dodge way too late, but he's going to hit both of these guys. Oh no, he only hits Snitch. That was pretty lucky by me. Normally he hits both guys in that situation. Wolf Rats push through all the Clan Rats to get on top of the Free Company Militia they want, and these are just basic crossbowmen and archers, so they have shit combat stats. The Wolf Rats are going to run through and clean all of them up. Plague Priest is trying to chase off some Empire Knights. Just do what he can. Rat Ogres are getting on top of more ranged units, and I'm feeling pretty good about my situation at this point. Marcus does get netted, and the Assassin and Deathmaster Snitch are going to run in on top of him. He is low. There's a net, but I think I maybe tried to land a melee attack there. I don't know, but the net won't last forever. Snitch gets blasted in the face by Marcus while he's netted, and that is very unfortunate, but we've shut down so many ranged assets with our dogs. We're doing okay there. Empire Knights are sprinting in to try to help the Flagellants. Finally break Ikid Zap Zap, though it is mostly out of ammo, so I don't really need to care about defending it that much anymore at this point. Deathmaster Snitch does get on top of Marcus and almost kills him. Assassin finishes him off. And the Empire is now leaderless, meaning they will take a bad leadership spike, as you've heard me say a million times. It feels like. The Tattered Souls do push off my Plague Priest, but then I get a Clan Rat summon as I'm breaking. And summons trade very well into Flagellants just because they have 0 armor. Free Company Militia will break, being attacked in the back by Clan Rat Spears and in the front by an Assassin. How are we doing elsewise? Empire's looking pretty thin. Free Company Militia are firing on the Clan Rat Spears. Clan Rats are fighting the Tattered Souls. Assassin's running around. He has tons of health. He's doing just fine. And my Plague Priest is back, and I'm slowly rallying a bunch of forces. These guys I left until they were fresh, because I wanted their leadership to come back. With only 3, if those Clan Rat Spears got near anything at all, they would break. Wolf Rats fight their valiant last stand against some Free Company militia. Have a hard time killing models for a little bit there, actually, but they eventually get the job done. And the Assassin will try to fight the Empire Knights, since they're... I noticed that they're kind of the only bastion of strength the Empire have left. Other than that, we're chasing some things down. We're trying to rally a little force, get them in the encourage aura of the Plague Priest. And you might notice that this replay was called What? And we'll get to that. The ending is very odd, in my opinion. So Flagellants and Empire Knights trying to team up. My Plague Priest is trying to get together all my Skaven slaves for one last little hurrah. The Assassin's very healthy and can fight quite well. He did try to pick off some Empire Knights, but had a little bit of struggle doing it. It looks like he's going to charge in now and fight some of these Flagellants. Model 32, 24. Okay, not bad. Not bad. Now I have a good number of slaves. The balance of power is still in my favor. And the Assassin's still fighting. He's taking some damage, yeah. He's taking some damage, but he's killing some stuff. Empire Knights are going to charge in. And now we need to play in slow motion. So this Plague Priest is running up. I have a Summon and I have a Pestilent Breath. Both of them are docked. And I have enough mana for them. Balance power is in my favor, though, so I wanted to get up here and cast this. I wanted to get up here and cast the Pestilent Breath on all these Flagellants before I summoned, because I didn't want the summon to wear out of time, but I also didn't want to Pestilent Breath my own summon. Balance power is still in my favor. I don't think anything is wrong. And you watch the Assassin's leadership as these knights are charging out. All these guys are doing fine in the back. They're blinking, but they're doing fine. Assassin's still positive on leadership. He's chilling. And then you can see my stuff in the back just starts to break for no reason. And balance power is still in my favor. And a mass rout for literally no reason. The balance power is still in my favor, and literally everything in the army's breaking. So army losses just procs while I'm ahead on the balance of power. For no reason! It's just everything breaks! Everything's breaking! Like, all these units are breaking. You might say, oh, well, the Assassin slowly went negative. Yeah, all that stuff was breaking before he went negative. It was like army losses was popping while he was over there. I don't understand what was going on, but if I had known that that was coming for some reason, I would have popped the Clan Rat summon just for the balance of power and then used Pestilent Breath later. But it was so weird. It was just so weird. I mean, he played really well, but it was just like that ending. We were both very confused. So yeah. It's been okay. This was one of my many iterations of builds, and we developed from there. But yeah, my thoughts on the Empire matchup have changed a lot. They're tough to deal with. It's very fun. It's a fun matchup. It's pretty even. But I used to feel super confident because everybody would take just the same. Everybody take the same build, and then it's easy to beat if you know what's coming. Anyway, there are those 2 games. Let's go. I have faction face-off stuff to cast, and then I have these 2 to cast, and then I can switch to the proper patch and get on with my day.